All right. Well, and so we're going to get ready to do another question for you. But when we think about leadership, there are definitely some skills to think about. And so we're going to ask you, when you think about these skills, and so the skills are integrity, authenticity, humility, responsibility, dependability, commitment, and self-motivation. So you should be able to go in there and vote. What do you think is the most important of these skills? They're all important as a leader, but what is the most important to you? All right. Integrity, commitment. Very good. So, yeah, all very important. So I'm going to ask the panel what they think their most important skill is. So can you talk about, of these skills, what do you think is the most important and why?
Honestly, I think authenticity is pretty important. I feel you want to be able to trust someone. And I feel like if you're authentic, you're responsible, you're dependable, like you know how to commit to things. Yeah, I would say authenticity.
I think when you're authentic with them, like when I was talking about the fail, when I had one of my athletes in the day, I said I messed up. Plain and simple. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I apologize. But I always have your back. I didn't mean to say this, or I didn't do this on purpose or anything like that. I just made a mistake. I messed up. And so the look in her eyes when I said I messed up, I made a mistake, coach is never perfect. What I've learned is if you're authentic, you're just honest. You mess up, you don't know, you don't have all the answers. And that's why I pull so much from my players, because they are great individuals, not just great athletes, great volleyball players. They're great individuals. So when I'm looking for leadership ideas, how to bring the team together, I'm pulling them all the time.
Yeah, I think the most important is integrity. I said that earlier. Being able to do what you say you're going to do. And that's important because when you have integrity, not only, are you building like trustworthiness with your teammates, but you're kind of building credibility for yourself as well. Like, oh, this person is going to do what they say they're going to do. And like, we know that, like they have a proven track record of doing that. So yeah, I'd say integrity for sure.
Well, and I'm going to go team humility because I really think it's important. And, when you make mistakes and to admit mistakes and to be able to lean into those mistakes and to be honest and to be supportive. And so I really value humility. It's something that's very important to me. So think about your college experience. Can you tell us about the transferable leadership skills? What did you learn and how do you apply those skills today?
What I've learned on my leadership journey or entrepreneurial journey is that everybody incubates at different rates, man. So patience and how I transfer that now into the blessings that I've got today is it takes patience, for me anyway, to watch a team develop. Because one of the great leadership skills that I've seen is somebody that knows how to assemble a team and the right people in the right seat. Once you've got that, just that team is huge, but sometimes it takes patience for watching that team develop. I think that ties into sports pretty easy.
But we can speak from the corporate world, like the skills that you all learn in the classrooms and on your teams are so transferable. Being able to talk about patience, being able to talk about resilience. Coach, I got a question for you. What advice would you give your former self? Looking back now, you're successful. You got that big ring on. We appreciate you pulling that out. What would you tell yourself?
I would ditch the ideology of trying to win at first. Because what I've learned is if you build a strong relationship with your athletes and then from there build a strong culture, everything else takes care of itself. Because the best coaches that I've ever been around kind of toss the X's and O's out. Like, the sports aren't that hard. Getting the players to play at their highest level is the most difficult thing, getting them comfortable under pressure. But the only way you can figure that out is you figure them out. And sometimes when I ask an athlete, well, why did you do what you did? I have no idea, coach. But I'm supposed to figure that out, and I see you 2 hours a day. And so that, to me, would be the thing I would tell myself is just spend more time working with the athletes because obviously it's much more rewarding, I'll be honest with you. Like, the wins and losses are great, the championships are great, but it's those relationships that you have that go beyond coaching them are just a lot more fun for me.
Perfect. All right, ladies. When you think about leadership skills, what skills do you need to work on, and how do you plan to do that?
Probably persistence. As you go on through life and as you go through different paths and journeys, you learn more and more how to get up, because it's like each time you kind of get knocked down, it kind of can feel like it's harder to get up as you continue. Whether you know it or not, everybody's always watching you. So persistence, I think, is a big thing to continue to develop as a leader, because, you know, not only is it helping your own personal values and beliefs and how you're being molded as an individual, but it also develops kind of the culture around you, how people act and behave around you, how they respond to you in your presence. So yeah, I would say that's probably the one that I would continue to hone on the most.
Perfect.
For me, I think patience is something that you'll have to continuously work on. Not everyone learns at the same rate or like does things at the same rate as maybe other athletes or classmates or business partners, you know. So I think that's something that I've really had to work on. You know, I'm a fifth year here now, and the freshmen are a lot younger than me. So, you know, being a little bit older now and working with kids that are pretty much 5 years younger than I am, it's interesting to like be a leader now, because even if you would have asked me last year, I would have felt differently. Like I would have felt a little closer to the younger generation, but yeah, I've learned to be very patient.
I love it. One of the important things about being a leader is being able to pull other people up into leadership. So can you talk about how you pull other people up into leadership positions?
We have a couple of girls that have come in from the sprinter side of the track team to like just, you know, be some bodies for us. But, you know, we have one freshman who is like a cross-country runner, and, you know, I'm not going to be here next year, so I'm hoping that she's watching me and she'll know how to like take things over once all the freshmen come in next year. Like Allison said earlier, like leading through example, I feel like that's one of the most important things, because how are others going to know like how to lead a good program if, you know, you're not leading a good program? So yeah.
Before each season, we do one-on-one meetings, and so we sit down, we talk to them, you know, where we see you on the team, what our expectations are for you, but also how we think you can lead, because everyone's personality is different. So some people lead through example, which is great. Some people lead by being able to communicate, and some of our best leaders, nonverbal, and they just do it with body language. You know, you can just kind of look at them and know, hey, they're under control, they're calm, they're ready to go. And so once they understand what leadership is, it's not just loud. There's lots of ways to be leaders. So we do that a lot in the beginning of the season.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think pulling people along looks different in different places. Like Jenna said on cross country, I'm one of those people that kind of is a body. It's something I've never done cross country ever before until college. And, you know, it was kind of like I could do it or I could not do it. I could do it, help the team, give my teammates an opportunity to qualify for nationals. And I think like in that instance, like I led by example. I did something I didn't really want to do, but my desire to not want to do it would never outweigh my desire to help the team. Sometimes, you know, pulling people along is just simply listening to them. And like people need to be pulled in different ways, whether that's, come on, let's do this together. Some people need someone to hold their hand. Some people need somebody to hype them up. Some people need somebody to just be there, just be present, just be willing to listen. So I think, you know, those are kind of how it looks different in every aspect of my life. So maybe you guys can relate to that in some capacity.
Awesome. So I would just say, last piece of advice you have when you think about leadership and your path to leadership and where you are on your path, any last thoughts for the group?
The best advice somebody gave me was the law of averages. You are the 5 people you hang around the most. Hang around winners.
And I love you said that. And Jenna, who is on my team with Catalyst Development, she talks about, second Jenna, she talks about, you know, also, you know, not just surrounding yourself by the right people, but eliminating the wrong people in your life, the people that are dragging you down and that are, you know, not good influences or draining you. And so I think, you know, that's an important thing to do as well.
So the one thing, I used this a few years ago with one of my teams. They just weren't comfortable just going after things. So our mantra became fail big. Just go after it. If we're going to fail big. Just go out in flames, but throw it all out there. Just be okay to fail, be okay to try things new. You'll find what you're good at. You'll find what's your comfort zone, but fail big. Just go for it. And so it worked. It worked. It didn't work that season, though. So I'll tell you, like, we failed huge that season. The next season, though, everyone kind of learned what they could and couldn't do, and we were much better, and we, you know, won another one of those little red banners. But it took us a whole year to kind of get there because we just kept throwing ourselves at it, and we failed, came back, tried it again. And I coach the women and the men. They both do that, so it's not gender related. They both overthink it. Just go for it. Just fail big, because no matter what, you're going to have a lot more fun doing it that way, my opinion.
Go big or go home. Be comfortable being uncomfortable, especially when you experience seasons where you can feel yourself about to experience a change because you're too comfortable where you're at, and you're about to get real uncomfortable real soon. Because I think that a lot of times too, we let fear hold ourselves back from what we're actually able to accomplish and actually able to attain. So, in your 20s, someone also told me you can never make a wrong decision. I think that's so true because everything you're learning. Mm-hmm. So, go big or go home. You can never make a wrong decision, and be comfortable being uncomfortable. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to kind of go off what Allison said. I'm also going to pad you a little bit for your job interview, but I don't know if any of you guys have ever run a 5K, but that is some of the hardest. That's like one of the hardest things I've ever done in my whole life. I didn't do cross country before I came here, but the fact that like Allison and some of the other sprinters can come out and just run their butts off it's crazy. Like doing things that you might not want to do, it pays off in the long run. That's like they're gaining skills just by doing that. But I have a lot of respect for them now. So not that I didn't before, I did before, but
Sorry, yeah. I'm just going to go off of what Jenna said real quick. It was funny because I was... it was so funny because like Jenna and I, we ran on relays since we've been here together. Like Jenna does everything. Like one thing about Jenna, like she really does lead by example because like coach is like, I need someone here. And Jenna's like, okay, I'm here. That's Jenna because, when it comes to the relays and track season, we're a smaller team, but we can build that chemistry with our team and we're able to kind of pull everyone together to say, how can we make each other better? So sometimes last season, like mid-distance and sprinters will work out and we're pushing each other, we're pulling each other through the workout. And Jenna's like, hey, let's lead this rep. And we're like, okay, let's lead this rep. And now to see all the other sprinters come out here and I'm thinking, they might not make it past the first meet. Like they're making it through a season now. And we're all finishing the race. I got to give props to Jenna. I got to give props to the team because, the guys are always cheering us on. They're like, you got it. And they know it's so hard. So, yeah, I'd say, that just kind of builds the culture and everyone kind of becomes a leader in that moment when you got to do things you don't want to do. But we all just get each other through it. So, yeah.
That is awesome. Yeah. Oh, I love you, ladies. I love what you've done. That is awesome. Well, and that is a perfect wrap. Thanks so much, everyone.